Okay, today, so all of you, welcome to this new course that is the anatomy, histology, as well as embryology. So this is the introductory class for you, where we'll discuss briefly about the human body. Briefly about the human body. Okay. So before we go into details, let's try to understand what exactly the name anatomy, histology, and embryology means. Okay, so for that, we have to know their definitions, how they are defined. Okay, to begin with, the anatomy. What is anatomy? It is the science which deals with gross structure of the human body. Okay, it deals with the gross study of the human structures, different structures of the human body, as well as it is not only confined to humans, but even the body structure of the animals and other living organisms. Okay, so all this study of all these structures of the human body, the animals as well as other living organisms, especially as revealed by dissection. So when you cut, dissection means to cut the body and see inside. That is called as the dissection. Okay, so when you cut the body and see, then it is called as dissection. And separation of the parts. So when you dissect and separate the parts, when you study each and every structure, okay, including the bones, the muscles, the other tissues, all those structures, when you study, that is called as anatomy. So anatomy means tomy means to cut and dissect. Okay, so the study of the humans, animals, and other living organisms. But here in this case, because you are related to the human, so we'll study the human anatomy. So we'll study the human anatomy here. Then coming to the embryology, what do you mean the embryology? Is the science concerned with the study of embryos in utero and their stages of development. Embryology means it is the science concerned with study of the embryo, means the fetus when it is developing, the human or the animal is developing in the mother's womb. Utero means uterus, the womb, rahim. So where the embryo will be developing, it is called as the embryology. Study of this embryo during its different stages. In case of human beings, the human will be developing in the embryo for almost 9 months, 0 to 9 months. Okay, so that study of the embryo will be called as the embryology. Logy means study. Embryo is the developing fetus. Embryology means study of the fetus. And there are different stages of development in the embryo itself. What happens in the first month, second month, third month? As I said, the embryo will be there for almost 9 months. Okay. The third is histology. What do you mean by histology? Histology is the science that deals with the microscopic study of the human structure. Okay, microscopic structure. Okay, so histology is the science which deals with the microscopic study, okay, of the body structures. When you study under the microscope each structure, when you remove from the human body and understand, try to study them under the microscope, then it is called as histology. Okay, so again, this histology is related to humans, animals, and other living organisms, but here, as I said, we'll study only about the humans. So now you are understood the anatomy means it is the study of the gross structures. What you see with the gross means what you see with the naked eyes. So all the structures of the human body, when you study grossly, you would dissect, cut the body and separate the parts and study, then it is called as the anatomy. Histology means the same structures when you study under the microscope, then it is called as histology. Then embryology means study of embryo, the fetus when it is growing in the mother's womb, then it is called embryology. So this is the The title for your course, the anatomy, embryology, as well as histology. Now going to the, before we study this human body, we'll try to study the smallest structure in the human body, that is the cell. Cell is the smallest structure. It is called as the structural and functional unit of the human body. Structural, it gives the structure to the body, shape to the body, as well as the functional unit, the smallest unit which functions, which is live, it is alive, as well as it is functional. So it is called as the structural and functional unit of the human body. Okay, so when these cells come together in a group, then it is called as tissue. So as I said, the cell is the smallest structure. We'll study the structure itself, the cell structure itself, but the smallest structure in the human body is the cell. Okay, when these cells come together in a group, then it is called as tissue. When a group of cells come together with similar structure and function, all these cells in a tissue will be having same structure as well as same function, then it is called a tissue. If different cells come together, then it is not called as tissue. A tissue should have group of cells with similar structure and function, then we call it as the tissue. If different types of cells come together, then we will not call it as a tissue. Okay, so when a group of cells with similar structure and function, very important is the similar structure and function, are bound together, then it is called as tissue. So there are four main basic tissues of the body, you should know. So all the different structures in the body are made up of one or more of these cells, of these kind of tissues. Okay, so one or more cells, one or more type of these basic tissues will form the the main tissue. Okay, so there are four types of tissue, as I said. So it can be the epithelial tissue, which lines the overall parts of the body, the external as well as internal. Then there can be connective tissue. Connective tissue, as the name indicates, connective, it means it is connecting. It connects the different parts of the body. Okay. Then we have the muscular tissue. The muscular tissue, the thick muscles which we have everywhere in the body, this is the muscular tissue. Then all these are connected by a very important tissue called as the nervous tissue, which will carry the impulses, which will be playing a very important role, which includes the brain and the nerves. So that is the nervous tissue. So each different part of the body is made up of one or more of these tissues. Either it can be epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, nervous tissue. So it can be one or more than one. Usually it will be two to three to sometimes all the four, which together form some structures. Okay. So what do you mean by organ? Organ is the larger functional unit composed of two or more tissues, as I said. So whenever two or more tissue come together, then it is called as organ. When two or more of these tissues come together and they form a big large structure which will have a particular function, then it is called as organ. Like the best examples will be the largest organ in the body, the liver, okay, or the kidney, or the skin, or other organs. Now we call the skin as the largest organ, uh, but if we have just the one organ at one place, then it is the liver. Anyhow, going to the next structure, that is the system. What do you mean by system? It is formed of several organs. When many organs come together, working together with interrelated function, then it is called a system. So going back to the cell is the structural and functional unit of the human body. When more more than one cell come together in the form of a group with similar structure and function, then it is called as tissue. When more than two or three tissues come together, they form an organ. When many organs join together, then it is called a system. System is formed of several organs working together. They should work together with interrelated function, like the example of GIT, gastrointestinal system, or the respiratory system, or the cardiovascular system. We'll study all these organs, the systems later, one by one. The human body is composed of different systems. As I said, there will be different systems: respiratory system, the gastrointestinal system, cardiovascular system, which work together in harmony for the orchestrated function. So the human body is made up of different systems which are all working together. Okay, so going back to the cell, cell is the single structural and functional unit. When many cells with similar structure and function come together, then it is called as tissue. When more than two to three tissues come together, then they form organ. When many organs join together, it forms the system. When many systems join together, it forms the human body. Human body. Okay, so all these are the different stages of the human. Okay, the smallest will be the smallest. Okay, now coming to the systems. Which are the systems which are present within the human body? As I said, the first one will be the integumentary system. So this is include the skin, which is, as I said, the largest organ. Nowadays we call it the skin and its related structures, which together form the integumentary system, is the largest organ. Then we have the skeletal system, all bones coming together. When all the bones are together, called as the skeletal system. Then the muscular system, all the muscles in the body together, they form the muscular system. Then the nerves, including brain, spinal cord, and all the nerves together, they form the nervous system. Then we have the endocrine system, like the thyroid, pituitary, and other organs. Okay. Then we have the cardiovascular system, very important system, the heart and the vessels, the arteries, veins together, all they form the cardiovascular system. Then we have, apart from cardiovascular system, a smaller part of the cardiovascular system. This is called as the lymphatic system, very important. Lymphatic system will be also there. Okay. Then we have the respiratory system, which includes the lungs, the trachea, and other, which help in the respiration. Then we have the digestive system, gastrointestinal system, includes the stomach, the intestines, all those systems. Okay, together. Then we have the urinary system, which includes the kidneys, the ureter, bladder, urethra, everything. Then finally we have the male or the female reproductive system. So all these systems together form the human body. All the systems, when they come together and work in association with each other, then it is called as the human body. So human body is a complex thing. Okay. So before we study this complex organism, we'll try to study the smallest structure in the human body, that is the cell. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Okay, the cell are the structural and functional units of all the living things. Every living thing, even including the animals, plants, everything, they are made up of cells. But the shape and structure of the cell might differ from human being. Okay, even in case of the human, there are different types of cells. Okay, so the human cell is typical, but there are some features which are common in all. So we'll try to study the common features of these cells. So what are the common features of these cells? They perform the general functions necessary to sustain life. To be alive, these cells should be alive. Okay, so they perform general functions which are necessary for sustaining life. To maintain life, they do some important functions in the body. Okay, so what are those? They obtain nutrients. They absorb the nutrients. When you eat the food, all the nutrients are absorbed, and other materials from the surrounding fluids. So they will be absorbed from the intestine and they will be sent to different cells, and it is absorbed by the different cells from the surrounding fluid. Then the second function they do is dispose of waste products. They remove all the waste products from each cell. Okay, so waste products are removed, including the carbon dioxide and other urea and other waste products are removed. Okay, then they maintain shape and integrity. They maintain the shape as well as the integrity of the cells. Okay, so they have a definite shape, just like human body has a definite shape with the head, limbs, and trunk and other things. Similarly, each cell also has a shape. Okay, so it will maintain the shape of the cells itself, as well as the human body, as well as they maintain the integrity. Okay, then we have the cell division. Cells, how they replicate. Human is actually evolved from one single cell, and they divide into multiple cells, and then when we see the embryo, the smallest embryo will be in the form of a zygote. Zygote is the smallest embryo, which will be of single cell. Then it divides into multiple cells. Okay, and then it converts itself into the tissues, organs, systems, and all those things. So how the cells divide? They divide by two processes called as mitosis and meiosis. Mitosis and meiosis. Mitosis is the regular division. One cell divides into two, two divides into four, four divides into eight. So this will be called as mitosis, which help in the growth and repair of the cells. If the cells are damaged, then they are replaced and they are repaired. Okay, so this is by the mitosis. There is also a second type of special division called as meiosis, where it is seen only in case of the gametes. Gametes means the male and the female gamete, the testis and the ovary, where there will be special kind of cell division will be taking place. This is called as meiosis, gamete formation. The sperm and the ovum are formed by this process called as meiosis. Here, one cell doesn't divide into two, two doesn't divide into four. So this has a special division, which we'll study later. So this is has a special division. This is called as the meiosis. Now coming to the parts of the cell. What are the parts of the cell? Each cell will have a covering called as cell membrane. Cell membrane. Each cell will have a covering called as cell membrane or plasma membrane. Okay. Then inside the cell membrane, there will be something called as cytoplasm, a liquid-like fluid which is present inside the cell. This is called as cytoplasm, which consists of the cystole and the organelles. Cystole is the fluid part, and the organelles, these are small organs within the cells. These are called as organelles. Organelles are nothing but these small organs within the cell. Okay, these are called as organelles. So there can be membranous organelles or non-membranous. They are divided into two types, membranous as well as non-membranous. So these are two types of organelles which are present. Then there are also small bodies called as inclusion bodies, inclusions. So the cytoplasm within the outside we have a cell membrane, plasma membrane. Inside we have the cytoplasm, which consists of the cystole, the organelles, as well as the inclusion bodies. Apart from that, there is also a very important structure, the main brain of the nucleus, that is called as the nucleus. Main brain of the cell called as the nucleus. Now coming to the plasma membrane. Plasma membrane, if you see here, this is how it looks like. Let me show you here in the picture. So this is the plasma membrane, the outer membrane covered. This is the plasma membrane which is there, which is called as the cell membrane. So it is a double layered structure which is there. Okay. So we'll try to understand that. So this plasma membrane is composed of lipids and proteins. Lipids like phospholipids, cholesterol, as well as the glycolipids. In this structure, when you see here, there are different types of the phospholipid. Then we have the here the other type of lipids here. Okay, so phospholipids will be there as well as protein. These are the proteins here. So these are the proteins here, and we have the phospholipids here on either side. So phospholipid as well as we have the cholesterol. Okay, so we have see here these are the cholesterol. Okay, then we have the glycolipids. Glycolipids. So we can see the here we have the carbohydrates here, and here we have the glycolipids. So all these are different types of lipids: phospholipids, cholesterol, as well as the glycolipids. Then we have the proteins, which are integral membrane protein, the peripheral membrane protein, as well as the glycoprotein. So as I said, this is the protein here, this is the peripheral protein here, this is the integral protein here. Okay. So this whole thing is called as the glycoprotein protein with the carbohydrate part, which is together it is called as the glycoprotein. Okay. Now coming to the membrane proteins carry out the following. So there are functions for these proteins. What do they do? One is they have the immunological identity. So they have a specific identity with which they are identified. Then the second function, they act as receptors for specific links. There are receptors, act as receptors. Okay. Then some are enzymes. And they also help in the transportation. Anything which has to pass, they have to pass through them. Okay, so they will be helping in the transportation. Okay, so these are some of the composition of the plasma membrane: lipids, proteins, and their functions here. Now coming to each structure inside the plasma membrane or cell membrane. What are those? The most important structure is the one of them which is producing the energy. This is called as the mitochondria. Mitochondria. Let me take your attendance first before we proceed. Okay. So this is the mitochondria, which are rod-like with a double membrane. Rod-like structures with a double membrane. There is an outer membrane which is smooth and an inner membrane which is curved, zigzag. Okay, so this is the structure of the mitochondria. And the function, they act as the powerhouse of the cell. And they synthesize ATPs. These are the energy. They are the powerhouse. They produce all the energy required, and this energy will be in the form of ATPs. Okay. Then coming to the next structure, that is called as the ribosomes. Okay, they are very small bodies. Later I will show you the picture. These are very small bodies which are present. If you go here, if you see here, these are the rough endoplasmic reticulum, and these are the membrane here. On those, these are very small bodies sitting on them. Very small bodies. These are called as the ribosomes. Okay, these are dense particles consisting of two subunits. If you can see here, an upper unit and a smaller unit. Okay, so these are dense particles consisting of two subunits, and the function is these are the sites of protein synthesis. They produce protein. They help in the production of proteins for the cell. So as we saw before, mitochondria will be producing the energy required for the cell, and these ribosomes will produce the the proteins. The third structure will be called as the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulum. It is very similar to that of smooth endoplasmic reticulum. These are nothing but the membrane, folding membrane. So if this folding membrane, if you see here, these are the folded membrane. If it is consisting of ribosome, on which there are ribosomes, then this is called as, it becomes rough, then it is called as rough endoplasmic reticulum. So structure, the membrane system, as I said, enclosing a cavity, the system, the small cavity inside, these are called as cisterns. Okay, covered externally by ribosome. As I said, outside there are filled with ribosomes. The whole, this folded membranous system is covered by a lot of ribosomes. Okay. The function, modification of the synthesized protein, modification of the synthesized proteins. So the protein are produced by these small ribosomes, and the rough endoplasmic reticulum will help in the modification of the proteins which are produced already. Okay. Then what is the function of the smooth endoplasm? As I said, this is very similar to the rough endoplasmic reticulum. These are folds, similar folds, membranous folds will present here. But on the surface, there are no ribosomes. If there are no ribosomes, then the surface becomes smooth. So that's why it is called as the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay. The structure, it is similar, membranous system of sacs and tubules, and free of ribosome. There are no ribosomes sitting on the endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum, both are endoplasmic reticulum. Here also endoplasmic reticulum. But here it is rough because outside there are ribosomes. But here it is free of ribosomes. So that's what is called as smooth. What is the function? The function is, it is the site of lipid synthesis. Ribosomes, when they produce proteins. Okay. So function of ribosomes is production of protein, and the function of the rough endoplasmic reticulum is just the modification of the proteins. But the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, because there are no ribosome, so this helps in the production of the lipids, lipid synthesis, as well as it also does a very important function called as drug detoxification. Any drug, anything which has entered, which is poisonous to the body, it is detoxified. Detoxified means it removes the bad component of it. The toxification is removed by this smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Then going to one more important body called as Golgi apparatus. Golgi apparatus. The structure, a sac of flattened membranous close to the nucleus. These are also membranous, which are, but they are always present close to the nucleus, very close to the nucleus, with small vacuole-like structures around. So here also there are membranous folds, but there are small vacuoles, and usually it will be smaller and present near the nucleus. So these are called as Golgi apparatus. What is the function of this Golgi apparatus? This helps in the modification and segregation of protein. So the function of this Golgi apparatus is to modify as well as separate the different kinds of proteins. It scans the different types of proteins and separates them. So this is the function of the Golgi apparatus. Then going to the smallest structure, these are called as lysosomes. Lysosomes, very small membranous sacs containing a very important component called as acid hydrolase. Acid hydrolase. So these are small sacs filled with acid hydrolase. What is the function? They are powerful digestive enzymes. These acid hydrolase, they are powerful digestive enzymes, and what does they do? They help in the intracellular digestion. Intracellular digestion. Any particular structure is not needed, or any foreign body is there, then these lysosomes will come and they release their acid to the structure, and they help in the digestion, intracellular digestion of that particle, or the unneeded structure, or the disease structure, or any foreign particle. So this is the function of the lysosomes. Now finally coming to the most important of all the structures, that is the nucleus. Okay, nucleus is the most important structure. As I said, it acts as the brain of the whole of the nucleus. All the functions are directed by, for the cell, are directed by the nucleus. All the brain, the child of the whole cell will be the nucleus. So this is how it looks like. So the structure, this is the largest organelle among all the organelles, small organs of the cell. So this is the largest organelle. Then surrounded by nuclear envelope, it will be having a bilayered structure again, just like the membrane of the cell. Even the membrane of the nucleus will be bilayered. Okay, this is called as the nuclear envelope. Surrounded by nuclear envelope everywhere, contains fluid nucleoplasm. Here within the nucleus also there is fluid. This is not called as cytoplasm but nucleoplasm. Whatever is present, the fluid component present in this cell, that is called as cytoplasm. What is the fluid which is present in the nucleus? It is called as nucleoplasm. Okay. Then inside that there are smaller nucleuses. These are called as nucleoli. Within the nucleus there are small nucleolus. Small nucleus called as nucleoli. When it is one, it is called as nucleolus. When they are multiple, they are called as nucleoli. Okay. And also within them they have the chromatin, very important structure, chromatin, which actually carries the genetic part from the mother to the child. Okay, so all these nucleus will have the very important component that is called as chromatin, which will be carrying all the genes from the mother and the father to the children. Okay, so these are called as chromatin. What is the function of the nucleus? It controls center of the whole cell. This, as I said, it is the brain of the nucleus. So it is the control center of the cell. Around this nucleus, there is, as I said, there is nuclear envelope. It is double membrane, as I said before. It is double membrane structure, pierced by pores. It has a lot of pores. If you can see here, there are a lot of pores here. These are holes, okay, which are connecting the external part with the internal part. So it is selectively permeable. For very few selective structures can enter the nucleus itself. So it is very selective in nature. So even though it has pores, but it is selective. Double membrane structure pierced by pores. The function of this membrane: separate the nucleoplasm from the cytoplasm. As I said, the nucleoplasm within the fluid within the nucleus, which is called a nucleoplasm, is separated from the cytoplasm, which is present in the whole of the cell. Okay, liquid part of the cell is separated from the liquid part of the nucleus. So this is the function of this nuclear envelope, which will allow selective permeability for some of these components. Now coming to the finally to the this is the last slide, where we'll discuss the whole of the levels of organization of the human body. Okay, so starting from the smallest structure, which is the cell. Okay, but we'll go beyond that to go to the chemical level, where we'll discuss the atoms. So the smallest component from a chemical point of view is the atom, which combines to form the molecules. Okay, so atom, which many atoms come together to form the molecules. Then at the cellular level, which we study naturally, we start studying from the cellular level, where cells are made up of molecules. Many molecules come together to form the cells. So tissue level, tissues consist of similar type of cells with similar structure and function. When they come together, then they form the tissue. When many tissues come together, then it forms the organs. This is called as organ level. Organs are made up of different types of tissues. Here, if you see here, it is similar type of cells to form the tissue, but to form the organ, it is different types of tissues. As we said, there are 4 types of tissue. When 2 or more types of tissue come together, then it forms the organ. So organ is made up of different types of tissue, but the tissue is made up of similar type of cells. So similar type of cells coming together, they form the tissue, and different types of tissue join together to form the organ. Okay, Then when organs, many organs come together, then they form the organ system. Consists of different organs that work together closely. This is called as the organ system. Then finally all these organ systems together, they form the organism level, that is the human body. The human organism is made up of many organ systems. So many systems come together to form the organ system. So this is all about this lecture, starting from the cell up to the human being itself. In the future lectures, we'll try to understand each organ or the organ system. We'll study one by one the different organ systems, different types of tissues, and different organs in the body. Okay, so this is just the brief introduction to this lecture where we discuss from the cell up to the human body. So if you have any doubts regarding this, you can just ask.